The Lost Art Project, Veteran Voices with Andrew Cox. Preserving history, one veteran story at a time. Marine Corps League and Till Valhalla Project Ambassadors. Thanks for tuning in to the podcast that's given a voice to our veterans. The Lost Art Project, Veteran Voices with Andrew Cox. Hello, my friends, and welcome back to the Lost Art Project, Veteran Voices. Speaking of Veteran Voices, we're going to have a good story here today, so I hope you're ready. But if you're enjoying these podcasts, make sure you go hit up the website. That's thelostart.podbean.com. Go check us out, see what we're all about. There's a couple ways you can help support us. You can go to that website. You can click on the one-time donation link. You can become a patron with a monthly donation. Heck, you could just go get you some cool merchandise. And if you have a business, anything of that nature, you can advertise right here on the podcast. A big shout out to the Till Valhalla Project out there doing some amazing things. I'm telling you, you've got to go check them out. If you haven't been there, you got to go. If you've been there, you got to go back. But you can check them out at tillvalhallaproject.com. Are you a Marine veteran? Are you missing that bond you had on active duty? Then I have a place for you. Join the only congressionally chartered Marine Corps Veteran Service Organization, the Marine Corps League. Get that brother and sisterhood back in your life. Become one of the fewer, the prouder, a Marine Corps League member. All right, we're back here. I got Jerry Blaylock. Hey, how you doing today, Jerry?
Doing great.
Very nice. Well, hey, I guess we'll just start at the beginning. Where did you grow up? What was that like? And then what drew you to military service?
Well, it originated out of Rockford, Illinois, but you could tell I'm not from Rockford, and I said Illinois correctly, not like my brothers. I was mostly raised around Sullivan, Alabama. I'm in between Tupelo and Birmingham.
Okay.
I live right there on the Mississippi line. One of the things that first got to me, I had an uncle who was in the Navy Seabees. And I can't really remember before him, but since I was in the fourth grade, he was constantly talking to me about getting in the trades, joining the military. And as a fourth grader, we know you told to be quiet and be seen. When he talked to me, it just seemed like he really cared. And to follow along, I went. On my dad's side, all of his great uncles, except for one, I think, were all in the Army during World War II. On my mother's side, her dad was on the second wave of D-Day. The oldest brother was in the Marines, and her youngest brother was in the Army. Then I've heard some stories about how they would little libations and they figure out which one was the toughest. And luckily for me, while I was in high school, I had a teacher who was in the Navy, Mr. Carter. He always is positive. But my welding instructor was a one-time active duty, but in the National Guard. And I had talked to him a long time, those 3 years about it. And he really encouraged me about joining. And then when I became a substitute teacher, I did the same thing. But
very nice.
That's pretty much how I got started.
Okay.
Even I could tell the recruiter was lying when he was talking to me, but as naive as I was, because you always heard the stories and stuff.
Right. That's pretty good. So now when you joined, let's see, you would have gone to San Diego for boot camp. Is that right?
No. I went to Paris Island.
Paris Island. Okay. So talk to me about your experience going to boot camp. What was that like for you? The good, the bad, the ugly, all of it.
Well, when I first got there, like everybody else, you scared the unknown. Luckily for me, though, the day before I left or the day that I left, my recruiter, one of the recruiters, both of them was there, said, look, whatever is said, whatever is done, don't take it to heart.
Right.
Let it go in one ear, let it bounce around a little bit, catch it, and let it go out, because don't take it personal. They're just doing their job. That last little bit of information helped me so much, because everybody has their turn.
Yeah.
It's your
Yeah, that's
day.
true.
So it just seems like it comes once a week, but Paris Island, Bravo Company, I enjoyed it. I actually had a recruit, one of the drill instructors who was from Jasper, Alabama.
Oh,
So when
wow.
Alabama played, if they won, we paid the
Mhm.
prize. If they lost, we paid the prize. It was so sad, because we had the only two Southerners was another one down in the Gulf of Mexico, down by the Gulf of Mississippi, and he told the drill instructor he wasn't an Alabama fan. He was another college down there, so we both had to pay for that. And it just so happened my ex-girlfriend, he knew her folks, and
No kidding.
when he had asked me where I was from, of course, I'm sure it sounded, I'm from Alabama, he said, really? He said, do you know where Jasper is? I said, yes. He said, what county? I said, Lamar County. What town? I said, from Sulligent. Do you know anybody from Vernon, Alabama? And I said, oh, crap. I said, yes. He said, you have a girlfriend? I said, no, sir. And he goes, why not? 'Cause we broke up. And he goes, what was her name? And I'm going, what an odd question to be asking. I'm thinking, does he already know something? And I said, she was, well, I ain't going to say her name.
Yeah.
And it just so happened he knew her grandparents.
Wow.
And when I got home from boot camp, I went over there to visit and stuff. And it just so happened her grandmother was still there. And I told them how I got in trouble because of them. And the grandmother come through the house. She said, all right, explain yourself. And I did. And she just looked at me and said, it didn't hurt you none. And then she turned around and walked the other way. Now that was a life experience. I thought it was funny.
Yeah. That's pretty
That was
wild.
just so funny. And they just looked, I said, well, they said the Marine Corps is a small world. I didn't think it'd be that small.
Yeah.
And
That
then,
is pretty small though. I mean,
yeah,
what are the odds,
yeah. So later on in life, I was in Quantico during my IR time, and I met one of my former drill instructors.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, in the chow hall. If I wouldn't even go. I wasn't even going to go. I was just going to skip it. And I went up there, and I'm glad I did. We probably spent
Yeah.
45 minutes, 50 minutes just jaw jacking about boot camp. And did I
Mhm.
notice this or did I notice that?
Right.
Then, but as far as boot camp goes, no, I played high school ball. I was an okay, average player. I had a lot of
Mhm.
heart, but you ain't got the ability. No, you had the ability, you could learn, but it's like that. But I learned
Yeah.
so many different little life skills, like climbing the rope.
Right.
Uh, I could do pull-ups all day long, but I
Mhm.
couldn't climb that rope to save my soul.
Right.
We went to the rifle range and we had permission to go out there, and they had the ones with the knots. Do you remember those? Or the ones
The
who couldn't do it? I
Oh,
got
yeah,
showed
yeah,
once. I said, "Oh, that's how you do it."
yeah.
So after then, I climb up like you do a zipper.
Yeah.
But it's a life lesson. I didn't know it was a life lesson later on in life.
Mhm.
Sometimes it isn't. You got to know the technique.
Right.
Once
Oh,
I was
yeah.
taught that technique, no problem.
Yeah. Absolutely. It's funny how life is that way, though, and it applies to everything. Once you know
Yeah,
the technique or once you understand it, it makes it
yeah,
so much easier.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And it not being so afraid of, oh, look out, cat, to teach others.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of got, sometimes I didn't mind being the butt of the joke at boot camp because I was just a carefree type guy, and sometimes it might
Hmm.
have bit me in the butt. But once I learned that I need to grow up just a little, but be
Yeah.
willing to teach others, no
Right.
matter how bad it makes you look bad. But what's the one thing in boot camp they told us that no, we're afraid to ask a question because somebody else may want to know that question to you.
Yeah.
And you're talking about your cat. My cat's bothering me. And
Wants attention.
believe me, I've asked some stupid questions.
Yeah.
But they get there. But as far as boot camp goes, once it's over, you laugh about it.
Yeah.
And then 2-3 years down, well, it wasn't that hard. Then you say the new kids got it easy, but they don't. It's the same thing. So
Right. Yeah. 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 That's so it sounds like you had a pretty good
but
experience overall.
I was lucky enough to go ahead. Yeah. I've been blessed. I put it to you that way. The one they were going to make me a demolition guy, and I went to the third hat, and I explained to him how I thought I was a little too clumsy to handling dynamite. Of course, he agreed a little too quick, I thought. And the next thing I knew, 15 minutes later, they said, "You're going to the AMTRACs." I'm gonna learn to drive a train. No. And it was my second pick. Welding was my first,
Uh,
and that was my second. And
okay.
26 tons of pure pleasure.
Very nice.
I accidentally took one airborne once in 29 Palms.
Oh,
Accidentally.
shoot.
I got a little scar up there from when I bit that tree. But yeah, then when I got done with that, since I had welding experience, I had went over to the weld shop a couple of times during lunch to keep up my skills and stuff. And I got asked would I go to the field one weekend with them. And I said, "Well, you got to ask Bravo Company. I mean, low man, how it is, low man on the totem pole."
Yeah.
It was just Saturday. Just went down to a beach, whatever it was. In I don't know, month and a half later, next thing I know, I'm in headquarters company in the weld shop. I had there was just three of us. 2E5.
Wow.
One was getting going to the recruiting field. Another one was getting promoted, and Lily was going across the wall, and I couldn't understand why he couldn't stay here and over here. And this thing I knew, I am a boot E3 in charge of 2 E5s, being asked by Master Guns why I didn't know where the 2 E5s were, and I'm going, there's another life lesson there. And and stuff. So when I got more welders and machinists in there, I was able to understand leadership skills a little bit more. Maybe the hard way, but sometimes you got to learn it the hard way.
Yeah, very true. You learn by making mistakes.
Yes, that's very true. Very true.
Yeah.
But I've had a great career. I bet I'm the only Marine that was in the National Guard that was in Iraq, Mosul, Iraq. True story. With General Petraeus, I walked up to the man, introduced him myself, and told him, "You need to go ahead and get all the medals ready." Later on, I kept saying "nasty guard," and he didn't like that phrase. I took suggesting that I not say that anymore. Well, my second encounter, he said, "Well, I thought I told you not to say that anymore, or specialist." I said, "Well, sir, I just thought it was more of a suggestion." And he just looked at me. He goes, "Yeah, that Marine." He remembered, and he goes, "Well, I'm gonna order you not to say it again, sir." "Yes, sir." Then the next time I saw him and talked to him was Thanksgiving Day in the DFAC. I'm wearing my greens. I didn't have the deserts. We was only given 2 sets. I wanted to keep one set there. All my others had holes on them because I was a welder, cutting metal, and he pulls me. It was in line. Every other person was going to get a coin. Now I had already received a coin of excellence, but I was wanting that second coin. And I said, "All right." And he looked at me. He said, "Come here, specialist." I'm about 10 people out. He walks me over, stands me tall, and he has me at ease. And then I come up and I said the phrase again, "nasty guard." He said, "I thought I ordered you not to say that." I said, "Well, sir, you didn't say it was a general order." He just looked at me, locked me up. And everybody's, "Ooh." And about that third time, he said, "You're enjoying this too much." I said, sir, yes, sir, all day long. He just looked at me. You can just go on back. And I went there. I said, all right, I'm going to be next one. And I got about 4 friends. He goes, no, you just keep going. So everybody that's met General Petraeus who knows him, I tell him, I said, ask him. He ain't going to remember my name, but he remembers some Alabama National Guard special kept saying nasty guard, and he'll remember that. I
Yeah.
guarantee he'll remember that. So,
That's pretty good.
yeah.
So you did now you spent how many years total were you in the Marine Corps? Was it 4?
6 and a quarter,
6 and a
close to
quarter?
6 and a half, no, a little less than 6 and a half.
And you were you did AMTRACs the whole time you were there?
I did welding. I was in welding for about half
Okay.
and half. Half and half.
Half and half. Okay.
Then I went IRR. I went to Quantico for a month, nearly
Yeah.
as a welder. They was asking me to come back. I was stupid. I should have went. Then Gulf War hit. I went back at AMTRAC as an instructor for 2 weeks. I was told not to talk to the students. They were scared I was going to teach how to pencil whip. And I'm going, I never did.
Yeah.
You just can't pencil whip some stuff. But the one handler let me talk to him on the free time about staying in versus getting out.
Yeah.
And you don't realize here you are in E2, E3. You got rent free. You're not paying utilities. They furnish a washer and dryer. You may have to wait a while to use it. You got to furnish on cleaning stuff.
Right.
I said, you just don't realize how much you had it made. Your pay may not be that great considering what you think it should be, but considering at home, when I got home, all of a sudden I had to find a place to live, get utilities, pay rent, and right here, and had gas go back and forth for work, or what if this, what if that. Cat adopted me, so I adopted the cat, so I had to make sure it got fed, and I'm going, man, I should have stayed in, and stuff. But so that was great. I try to talk to the poolies now about the Marine Corps League as a department Marine for Life liaison, and hopefully soon also be the VAVS. I go talk to these about their jobs. They got to learn that you can make fun of each other all you want in other branches of service. You got to remember, once you out, we're all brothers and sisters.
Right.
And one job's not no more important than the other job, because somebody somewhere has got to do the paperwork to get you paid. Somebody's got to figure out how much money that is. Somebody's got to order the food to feed you. Somebody's got to go get the fuel to put in your vehicle for you to go over there and get this. Somebody's got to order the vehicle parts. Somebody's got to go get the vehicle parts. Commo, somebody, one MOS is not no better than the other. But I'm still partial to my AMTRACs. Yes. And stuff like that. I'm constantly doing that now. I coached as a volunteer coach for high school, where I was a substitute teacher for 15 years over here in Lamar County, Alabama, and I worked all 3 schools. And I tell these young men and women, they ask, about different branches of service, and I have to tell them, you got to go what's in your heart.
Yeah.
If your heart says Navy, you go Navy. I had one kid I had for 3 years. I was the only substitute. I had a machinist degree. And so I filled in for the machinist. He had surgery. And the kid came to me and asked me how I thought about him not joining the Marines, joining the National Guard and becoming an auto mechanic and not a machinist. And I just looked at him. I guess he thought I'd be mad, because I always say, if you join the National Guard, I'll break your leg, but I might do that. And I explained to him the pros and cons, how the National Guard, Tennessee has more money for education.
Yeah.
That how he could, if he went auto mechanics in the military, go light wheel vehicles, they tend to get promoted faster. than the heavy equipment, which you would think somebody working on a dozer. And it really, really, when I got home, I told my wife about it. She said, "What are you thinking about?" And I said, "I just couldn't believe this kid actually asked me what I thought."
Yeah.
And I must have said something and done something right at least once to make that kid trust me enough.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, and that's a good thing to have when when you're dealing with kids like that, just to be a good mentor and
yeah,
somebody there, because they don't always have that.
they don't. Some of them come from broken homes, single
Hmm.
parents, and I'm not dogging or knocking anything. It's just that life is life. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Dad may be across country,
Hmm.
working, doing log, hauling big semi trucks, or it may be up in the woods,
Yeah.
or over here, whatever the reason, or it may be the mom the other way around,
Hmm.
and stuff. And
Yeah.
I was always telling them, get in the trades. Not everybody's going to go to a big university and play ball, you
Yeah.
know. And if you don't think you want to go to school, join the military, especially Marines if you can, and get a trade. Let them teach you for free.
Yeah.
Then you get your
Absolutely.
foot in the door.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Get you something that's going to help you. If it's 4 years, 6 years, 20 years, 30 years, it's going to help you out once you get out, because you still got to earn a living.
True. Yeah. Wow. So you did six years in the Marine Corps. Now where were you stationed when you were in the Marine Corps?
Pendleton, Delmar,
Pendleton. Okay.
right
Oh, well,
outside
that's
of.
not a bad area there,
It's
Delmar.
not.
Yeah.
My mom, she asked me. I was on the phone down at the phone banks, like all boots do. She said, "Well, tell us about where you at." I said, "Mom, and that time we was in the interior. I could walk out my door and I could look to see people surfing, and I can look up in the mountains where I see snow, and I know someone's skiing.
Yeah.
And we're talking about right here together, just
Uh-huh.
basically around the corner and stuff." I said, I had never seen a movie theater have 12, 13 uh, theaters in it.
Yeah.
I've come from a redneck town who doesn't have that. You know,
Yeah.
there was just a big awe. And trust me, my favorite hobby was going to the movies.
Yeah.
You know, so
Uh,
that was great. Of course, going to
no,
Disneyland a few times. Well, it did have its
mm,
pluses too. And so,
yeah. Now,
yeah,
what
23 years I did altogether.
23 total?
23, 20. Yeah, 23 total.
Yeah, wow. All right. Well, now while you were at Pendleton, we'll just kind of walk through. So while you were at Pendleton, what were some of the things that you remember and that you did that kind of stood out and
I got
good or
several of them.
bad, whatever?
I got several of them. Guard duty was one of them.
Yeah.
We had one we called the Ghost Post. Um, uh, the story is, or the legend is, the Anglo and Recon guys would take themselves talking during the day. When they leave, they'd cut it on, and you walk around there. You get this big old post. There's only one light at one end, and you don't know. But when one of the things there, when the big earthquake hit San Francisco,
Uh-huh.
I was off duty and I was trying to catch a cat nap. No one told me. So I go on post at 4 in the afternoon
Uh-huh.
and I make a loop, quiet as a mouse. I make another loop and I look up there and I saw this biggest jackrabbit I've ever saw in my life. I said, "That's odd." And I'm coming around that corner there and I see the birds take off. And all of a sudden, the bay doors have started. So I had to call Ironside, said, "Come get me. I think the second coming's coming." And when they came down there to calm me down, I didn't know that was an aftershock. I'd been through an aftershock or two, but that had happened. No one told me.
Yeah.
Um, Chief Alan Sanning, well, actually, when I was in the weld shop, he was across the bay, and I had went over there for work detail one time, and I went over there 2 other times to learn. We was doing this new armor on our AMTRAKs,
Uh-huh.
and they were teaching me how to do this. and which was a bit because it wasn't just 2, 3 of us; it was just one of us.
Right.
So I had to get it down pat. Then I had to take my crew and show them and tell them how if you go from the front to the back, it's not going to work. You go from the bottom to the top, it ain't going to work. You got to start from the back and go across, then down. That's the only way it works. And every fourth one, it didn't work out right. And the very first one, I wanted to be the first one on there. It was Charlie Company. And that same vehicle I'm going to talk about is at the little historical place there by the school. Like an idiot, I didn't put my welding helmet on. I put my gloves on it. Bam! Hit me in the head. I picked it up, get there, set. Boom! Took it and I threw it across the bay. And I said, "Let's go to chow." Years later, I tell my wife this story, like, and like she don't know what I'm. I come up there and I showed her right here. She said, "Man, that thing is huge." Of course, it was on a ramp, so it made it look bigger. I said, "Man, this looks familiar." And the staff sergeant there, he said, "Well, what makes you think it's bigger?" I said, "Let me walk around back here." I said, "Yep, this is it." And my wife says, "What are you talking about, Jerry?" And the staff sergeant, "Yeah, they're Marine. What are you talking about?" I said, "Ellie, remember the story I told you my very first time in the shop was working on these vehicles as a group, and that piece of metal, I didn't wear my helmet and it hit me in the head. I picked it up and put it on, it hit me in the head, and I threw it across the bay." He said, "Yeah." He said, "This is it." "Well, how do you know this?" I said, "Well, come here and look. Come here, your staff sergeant." I said, "Look at these welds." I see things right. See how slick and pretty they are? She goes, "Yeah." "Look at this one." "Yeah." "Compare this and notice it looks like crap." That's how I know it was mine. so the staff sergeant thought it was funny, and she just shook her head because there was a little dip right there. I'm going, "Yep, that's mine," and that's a true, honest story. So I had a lot of good fun. While I was there, we had boxing smokers, and since I had family in the business of wrestling, the second time around, I wanted to get more in wrestling, and of course we had to do it on the boxing ring, which is no give. We had one spot we had to stay away from them because it wasn't thick as wood, because I didn't want nobody to turn their ankles. And here I am, still learning my own self, teaching these other guys and telling, "Hey, we can't pile drive each other." And they're over there pile driving each other. I said, "Dude, somebody's going to get hurt. And I'm going to have to answer the sergeant major." But we put a great show on there, and I signed my first autograph. Some guy flipped me over the ring right here and went, "Come there, I'm going to get you." And I had to look down here. "I'm going to get you." Shook my fist. And those two boys come up and asked me, could they get my autograph? Now, you're talking about humbling somebody.
Yeah.
I said, "Sure." And I'd been practicing and that was awesome. That was awesome.
Yeah.
Really, really awesome. I played 3 years in the battalion. First 2 years was inter-battalion, inter-division champions. Be kind of like in the pros or in the college, the divisions. You got South, Southeast, and stuff like that. So we were a division champion.
Okay.
And going to the Toys for Tots for 2 years, and I think we won one year in flag football. So that's really got my started back in the wrestling a little bit. With the family and stuff. And then I come home and I had a cousin of mine who actually done it for a living. He beat the tar out of me. It's just, I went to work the next day, stripes all over me, bruised up. Everybody's laughing. I said, "It's fun. It's fun." And you gotta kayfabe, you gotta live it up. And stuff. So I'm actually one of those guys that had a great time. I learned some stuff. I got to be around great amount of Marines. I had a few female Marines there in other battalions. One was an officer. I don't even remember her name or which unit it was. And I talked to her about the difference between the male and female and officer and enlisted. Just from my own perspective.
Yeah.
What do I need to learn? Because I know if I stayed in there long enough, I'm either going to be in charge of some or somebody's going to be charging me, and I want to be able to handle that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because being an all-male battalion, you didn't have that to worry with, but you had females everywhere.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to be like a cat on a tin roof. So,
Yeah.
but man, yeah, because of that, because this door opened here, that opened this door over here. Well, because this door over here, I got to do this. Later on in life, I worked for a mobile home plant, and I was an electrician for 6.5 years. I wired. I've done plumbing. I've helped build walls. The only thing I hated doing was putting in the shower doors. As simple as that seemed, like that was the hardest thing, aggravating for me. I'd rather paint the frames and have all that paint on me. But yeah, got to do that because when I got back in my Iraq, I went to machinist school.
Okay.
To me, that's a trifecta. I've been a welder, an electrician, and a machinist.
Wow.
So when I went to back as a sub, and the ag teachers would let me talk to the students while I was there. We just take a day, and talk to them about the trades.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I was gracious enough that this school over here schools allowed me to do this. And you just never know. You just never know. You help. I bet I'm the only Marine that was in the National Guard that went to a coaching clinic in Atlanta, Georgia, that was honorated, promoted by a colonel who was in charge of the recruiting detail there.
Okay.
Yeah. The captain come back the next day. I was on Friday, Saturday. He said, I don't know who he talked to, but apparently you got a lot of people like you. I said, really? Who knew? so he honorary promoted me to sergeant because I'd had it. Supposed to have gotten it, and I didn't because we was going here and there and stuff. So yeah, I can actually say I'm the only Marine that was in the National Guard. When he got done, went to the Alabama coaching clinic and taught math at the University of Alabama. Technically, I was teaching them how to do multiplications with their fingers, 6, 7, 8, 9s, and 10s. And I did it on the practice field and in there. So technically, I can say I taught math at the University of Alabama.
That's right.
So yeah.
I love it.
I've had a great life. I really have.
Yeah.
So.
Now, once you got out of the Marine Corps, you joined the National Guard. Was it right away?
Well, like some young bucks, I chased a girl to Connecticut that I met in the Marines.
Yeah.
Lovely family. They took me in. Do I regret going there? No, because if I hadn't went, I wouldn't have joined the National Guard there. I wouldn't have went to Maine a couple of times. I wouldn't have told the lieutenants to get captain how stupid it was for going on a rifle range in January or February, where it was in New York State. Yeah.
Man.
Who's that shooting way out there? And stuff like that. I had a little gumption behind me. I didn't really care. As long as I kept it clean and I was, doing like you're supposed to. Yes, sir, no, sir, and ma'am, and stuff like that.
Right.
I was at Stephen King's house and we was going by there. I said, hey, I did one of the redneck things you can do. I hollered, hey, Mrs. King. Well, the lady turned around and waved at me. Well, it embarrassed her. Well, here comes this other lady. Well, I don't know if that was Mrs. King or not. So what I do, I did it again. And that lady waved. She said, you just can't go nowhere, have you? I go, but when I joined the Guard there, I didn't know to begin with. I had 4 Marines and 1 Navy personnel in the platoon.
Oh wow!
My platoon sergeant was a Marine. First, second, third squad was a leader was a Marine, and the 4th squad was a submariner, Navy.
Oh, okay.
He was a Marine, yeah. So I kept wondering why I got stuck doing all the rifle cleaning, and I got stuck doing. I'm going, and them guys are saying he's getting off easy. It's the 3rd month. I'm going here. I said, here, you do this stuff. You do over here. I'm over here. If you don't like it, you do it over here. And at the end of that drill, that's when I found out. They was waiting to see what I would do and how I'd handle it.
Yeah.
And I'm going, but after that, I'd had no problems. You know, I had one little mechanic over there. She was itty bitty. Oh my goodness. She probably weighed 85 pounds. Picking
Oh
up that
wow.
85-pound toolbox or more, throw it on the shoulder. I said, boss, use this two-wheel dolly. Use your brain, not your back.
Yeah.
Her husband thought I was probably talking too friendly because he didn't know the conversation. He just saw that I was
Yeah.
talking to her. Then I understand that.
Yeah.
And the next day she done it again. She hurt her back. Yeah,
Oh
I said,
no.
yeah. I told her husband, don't you wish now you taught her and using the two-wheel dolly? So,
Wow.
yeah, yeah,
Well, that's one of those things you gotta learn it.
yeah. I learned it.
That's
So
well,
I started getting safety. The lieutenant, he was a captain then, come up and told me, he said, "You're our brand new welder." I said, "Well, that's what they tell me, sir." He said, "I want you to get me a weld shop." And I said, "Well, let's walk out to where it's at." And he brings me to a 2.5 deuce, you know, deuce and a half, you know. And I'm
yeah.
going, "This ain't no shop. This is a truck." He said, "I want you to make a weld shop out of this." And this was a Sunday afternoon after chow. We had like
Yeah.
2 hours left when we went home. And I'm going, all right, the next drill, he said, "Where's my weld shop?" I'm going, "Well, sir, we ain't ordered the stuff yet." "What stuff?" "Well, I need this, 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 and this. So you make me a list." I go out there and scribble it down. The next drill comes back there. "Where's my weld shop?" I said, "Well, sir, if you'll get out your wallet and you go to the store and buy this for me, I will be more than glad to get this for you."
Yeah.
And he just looked at me and he said, "Oh yeah, you a Marine." And it didn't dawn on me then what he was saying. I said, "Because I'm not going to make anything, I ain't build anything. Now I can scavenge." "Oh no, we don't do scavenging here. We'll get you in the chair." So then I got me and one other welder got handpicked to join this other unit. That was a fast-paced unit. That was one of the ones that's supposed to be, if anything went up, the balloon goes up, they get called up, and I got handpicked to go over there. And I had already set myself to come back home to Alabama and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. So, but it was
Wow.
nice to be handpicked, go there and talk to and stuff like that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I've
Wow.
done
And
a
then
lot.
so and you say you did 23 years, so you were you just said you deployed to Iraq. Who did you deploy with?
Well, the battalion was 877 Combat Heavy Engineers,
Okay.
and we went to Fort Benning, and they put us over there where the recruits were. Yeah, that didn't go so well. Then when we came back, they put us back over there. All those, I say recruits, boots, was told don't talk to us
Yeah.
because they didn't want us to go off on them and stuff. We went to that's third ID. We went to Kuwait, which was still third ID. And when we crossed over, we belonged to 101st Airborne, where
Okay.
General Petraeus got the chance of a lifetime to meet me. Then they pulled out. We was with the Stryker Brigade. Um, I was stationed in Mosul or Mosul, how they pronounced it over there. In the
Yeah.
Bible, it's called Nineveh, where Jonah rode the whale in. And you can
Mm-hmm.
actually, one spot, you can actually see where it's dry now, but you can actually see where water used to be there. You can
Oh,
just
no
tell it.
kidding.
Yeah. Went up a couple of spots up there, and that's all I'm going to say about that. Um, but we were there when they got Saddam's boys. Matter of fact, that
Oh, okay.
morning I walked out and told my top, I said, "They kicked off the rifle range a little early this morning." He goes, "You sure that's the rifle range?" I said, "No, I got to look and that's the rifle. It's over here and that's over there." And being an E4, you don't really need to know what's going on.
Yeah.
And right after that, I got handpicked by my battalion commander because I was a Marine and I'm supposed to know how to shoot. And
Mm-hmm.
I rode with him. We went by a couple of roadside bombs and a few other stuff that I probably don't need to mention. And so I had an
Wow.
eventful day that day. I
Yeah.
had there and back and stuff. Uh, um, but
Wow.
I did my time. I
Mm-hmm.
come back some really no crazier than I was. I still cut up, I had problems sleeping like a lot of folks. But
Mm-hmm.
they, one of my buddies said him and his wife decided they just swapped ends of the bed. So where he was on one side, she was on the other, and they swapped. And by the second night, they could tell. So he told me about it. And I told Miss Ellie about it, and it worked. At
Huh.
least for us.
Yeah.
You
That's
know,
interesting.
yeah. Instead of sleeping on my right side, I started sleeping on my left side, uh, and stuff like that. So,
Huh. And
you know,
it's just you started sleeping better whenever you did
I
that.
started sleeping better, but I had developed sleep apnea, and
Oh yeah.
later on. But it's sad and it's bad when you wake up during the sleep and say, "Who's snoring too loud? Who is
Mm-hmm.
that?"
Yeah.
Oh, it's you,
Yeah.
and then you go
You
back to
woke yourself
sleep.
up.
So yeah, yeah. So, but
Oh man.
I got my CPAP machine. I named him George. Bugs Bunny went to the abominable snowman, and he goes, "Oh, I'm gonna name you George." He rubbed his head, my friend, my
Yeah.
best friend. Well, that's George.
Oh man, that's good. But I gotta say the CPAPs are wonderful.
Yeah,
wh- like I'll forget to use it every now and again, and man, I wake up and I just don't feel right. I'm sluggish, and
yeah, tired and
yeah,
sluggish, and
yeah.
yeah.
But if I use
Uh,
it, man, I wake up.
well,
I'm
you
like,
got to
oh,
make sure you
okay.
get the right mask for yourself. Now,
Yeah, that's true.
mine's got a tube comes out the top. I look like Cindy Lou Who,
I
and I
love
got a
it.
little bitty nose piece there. But what I like about that, I can actually put my glasses on and I can still read.
Oh
If I
yeah,
wanted to drink my juice, I can still drink my juice. But
yeah,
there's some people has to have a full mask and stuff. So
yeah,
that's one of the things I constantly, man, your ears hurting you? He goes, yeah. I said, you need to get that tested. Uh, do you snore a lot? My wife says it does. I said, don't, hey, man up, get checked out
yeah.
because people die from that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
You know, I'm sure your kids may want you to be around just a tad, a little bit more.
yeah.
I love to see your see great grandkids.
Mm-hmm.
And the one guy, he was an army guy, and he didn't think about it like that. And when I just sat down, just him and me, you know,
Wow. Yeah.
uh, we were taking those classes at the VA in Tuscaloosa, and
Mm-hmm.
me and my wife, it was a hoot when me went there because everybody looked to see are they coming because we coming around the corner town. Are they going to be here today? Uh, we hadn't been married all that long, and I just got off from work. I had insulation all over me still, and she
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go see her mom. So just give me 5 minutes just to rest, and then I'll go take a bath. Well, you can rest when you're going on the road. And I said, well, you ain't my boss. But well, I ain't gonna say his name, and because he had just said that 2 weeks before that to me about working over. And I said, just give me a few minutes. She says, whatever I said, and I have to take a word. She said what I said. She said, go right ahead. And I'm going, this ain't going to be good. So I went over there and I must have pulled something out of my pocket or something. There was a piece of paper there. All I remember is a white light, a big bang, then waking up a couple of minutes later and said, why is my head hurting? Why am I on the floor? And her holding a number 8 cast iron skillet.
Oh
Yeah, it worked.
no.
That's an attitude adjustment. She never
Yeah.
heard that. She never had that problem again. And I told him when I retired, I'd get her up. I'd go. Go throw the load of wash in. I go walk my mile and a half, 2 miles, come back, preheat the oven, get in the shower, get clean, throw that stuff in the dryer, have her some biscuits done, have her breakfast, get her up, and kick her out the door, and ask her what time you plan on being home so I can have your supper ready. That's an
Yeah.
attitude adjustment right there. And we're talking about 15 something years later, 20 something years
Yeah.
later. And I had one fellow, he said, I don't want everyone to hear you say it again because I don't want my wife getting no ideas. And everybody else there thought it was so funny because it's so organic and it was so true. That we didn't stretch it a bit, you
Yeah.
know, and stuff. But
It
come
is a
think of
good
it, I
story
remember
though.
saying, "Well, you need to know your role," because I heard of someone say about that later on. Know your role, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'll get you to. I'll tell you about how I found out my dogs and cats think about my singing. especially in a falsetto tone. Now I'm
Yeah.
hoarse, gravelly now, but it is hilarious and it is true. And I don't care who tells it, uses my name, but you'll know when I tell the story, you'll know your role.
Oh man, that's
So,
good. That's good. Well, what else would you like to talk about as far as the career goes? Is there anything
well,
else?
um, I I didn't have that much bad. We all had, the military side of it is bad. But now that I'm in the Marine Corps League,
Mm-hmm.
that's a whole nother career. I started off like everybody else, holding the brakes, holding the brakes, holding the brakes. And then I
Mm-hmm.
started helping with the Toys for Tots. I
Mm-hmm.
was retired, and so I was the only one that was free to help Mr. Charlie. And each year I done a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. And they retired after 25 years, him and his wife. I said, nah, I got enough pokers in the fire. But that got me starting,
Mm-hmm.
knowing when you have parents and the men crying, said, thank you for helping us. You don't understand. I said, I do. I do. I've
Mm-hmm.
been in that situation.
Yeah.
I don't have kids, but I've been in that situation. We all
Mm-hmm.
have,
Very true.
and
Yeah.
now that uh, I've been a detachment commandant.
Mm.
I'm in like 3 or 4 different detachments. I'm a department junior vice
Okay.
again, and I'm a division officer. I'm getting more and more busy with this volunteer, but with the VAVS, I got 2 people that's going to teach me how to help veterans get signed up for ID Me.
What? Oh, ID me. Okay.
ID
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
And because you think, oh, that ain't nothing to it. No, it's not. I mean, people don't know about it because if you got people that come to the VA and they only come about once a year and they don't remember where stuff and you show them where to go and you walk with
Mm-hmm.
them and ask them
Yeah.
how their day's doing, how long did it take them to get here, how was the weather, how was the drive, you
Yeah.
know, because I've been that way and it kind of calmed them down and
Mm-hmm.
uh, just help, as my grandpa would have said, my papa said, hope them out a little bit,
Yes.
you know. And so I'm getting more and more comfortable in my own skin, in my own way, helping more
Mm-hmm.
people out and a little bit grander platform, you
Yeah.
know. Um,
Yeah.
it's the little thing. It's the person who drives the golf cart around. I got to do that the other day. And I did not
Ah.
pop any wheelies. I promised them I wouldn't or jump any ditches. I promised them. Um, Helping somebody where to go because the buildings like that one has changed over the past 20 years.
Yeah.
Helping somebody out with fill out the travel form,
Mm-hmm.
tell them, this is over here, that's over there. And that little bit of a gesture, being an ambassador helps them because when they get up there, when they get where they're going, they're a little more at ease. They're a little more ease. They
Right.
feel more comfortable. By the time they get done, wherever they're having to do, and they come home, they feel better about going
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
that's a goal that I try to set every day.
Yeah.
It's a small goal, but it's a thing.
You know,
And then
but
your
it's
platform, you get to help people.
yeah. Yeah. That's true. And it's important. I don't know. It touches your heart, when you're
Yeah,
helping somebody else.
yeah, yeah.
And it's needed.
It's needed.
There's more.
There's more.
More people need to do it.
Yeah.
So
Well, you got. I hear veterans. I wish I could do that, but I'm still working. Well, brother, dude, you got to take care of you first. You and your
yeah.
family come first.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
That's
when
right.
there's a time and opportunity, because you never know, you
Mm-hmm.
know, you hold that door open for someone one time.
Mm-hmm.
You never know that ripple effect, how that helps, and maybe that
Absolutely.
person will pay it forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know, getting pulling a card out at Walmart for somebody.
Mm-hmm.
If they're having, she said, here, just take mine, or
Yeah.
here, let me get you this. And that
Just
someone may be having the worst day of their life, or next kind of close, and they're just having a bad day. And that
mm-hmm.
one little thing, can make a big difference.
Absolutely. Yeah. Man, those are good life lessons there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I remember when I was growing up, I my mom would always teach me how to open it, like you have to open the door for a lady or whatever. And I remember we went in the grocery store and I went in and I walked in doing my thing and
yeah.
realized that she wasn't standing next to me and I'm like, what happened? So I went back and she was standing outside just waiting for me to come back out and open the door for her so she could go in. And there's 3 or 4 guys that said, here, let me hold the door for you before I even got back there. And she's like, no, I'm waiting for my son.
Yeah.
And then I came back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's the common courtesy. When I was in Connecticut, I was
Mm-hmm.
walking down with my friend, and I say elder gentleman. He wasn't that much older than me, but I really don't know how. He was gray headed. He said, "You know,
Mm-hmm.
you're walking on the wrong side of the sidewalk." And I just looked and said, "Do what?" Now I'm from Alabama, not
Mm-hmm.
big city. And my friend said, "Yeah, you're supposed to walk on the outside, and I'm supposed to walk on the inside." And he said, "Young man, do you know why that is?" I said, "No, sir." And he says, "That way, if there's trouble coming, you take the hit."
Mm.
All right,
Yeah.
nice to know. Okay, but I never knew that. That's the little
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So it's the little courtesies and stuff. Now I don't have that problem down here. More dirt road and gravel roads, and
Right.
you have to you have to let the dog pass by so you can go on.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But it's those little common courtesies.
Yeah.
Uh,
Goes a
getting up,
long way.
getting up off the. You just worked uh, an extra long shift at work, and you get
Mm-hmm.
there's elderly ladies wanting to sit down, and you're tired, and you just work third shift, a little extra, third shift, and you just work second shift, and you get up and let this lady have your seat,
Mm-hmm.
and your knees are buckling on the bus, but
Yeah.
that's the thing you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's a good point. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, now once you did 23 years total, and then you retired. Now, where did you retire? What was your rank when you retired?
Depends who you talk to. I did pick
Okay.
up sergeant,
Uh-huh.
but I didn't hold it long enough to retire with it.
Oh, I see.
Sergeant
Yeah, yeah,
E5. In the National Guard, they go by slots. So as a welder, there was only 2 slots in the state of Alabama. You go to E5.
no kidding. Wow.
That's it. Well, your next progression is a machinist. What means you got to go to school to be a machinist.
Mm-hmm.
Well, all the E6 slots were going to be reduced down to E5s, and all the welding slots were being reduced down to E4s. So you were stuck at E4. And it's very
Wow.
common in the National Guard to retire at
Mm-hmm.
age 60 E4.
Wow. That's very interesting.
It is. Um, um, and then at that E4, you're not really an NCO because you're a specialist. Which the
Right.
one thing I liked about the Army had, because you had a particular job. You wasn't learning. You wasn't the squad leader or whatever. And they
Mm-hmm.
used to have a Spec 5. It paid the same. It's like a master guns and a sergeant major.
Right. Yeah.
A master sergeant and a first sergeant.
Mm-hmm.
So, but lower rank. Um,
Yeah.
but
That makes
I am
sense to
allowed to wear
me.
my E5.
Yeah. Well, that's good. Wow. And then what did you do once that was over? Like what has life been doing? I know you did the Marine Corps League, but what else? Anything else that you did?
Uh, well, like I said, I subbed for 15 years. I enjoyed
Mm-hmm.
that mostly. I coached, helped coach high school football. I worked my way up to special teams, kicking coach and special teams. I helped out here and there, other stuff, junior high and varsity.
Okay.
I was a little bit bigger then. A lot of them coaches, when the players come, especially this one coach, he was on, he'd get behind me, want me to take the lead. But that there, I'm an alderman in my little town here.
Okay.
December 2012. And living
Very
in a
nice.
very small town with nothing in it, with no revenue in the town anymore, to where at
Oh,
one
wow.
time they had at least have like 75 businesses in this 3 square block town.
Oh, wow.
Now there's not. So I learned a lot of leadership through that. A lot more people know me than I know them, and I don't know if that's a good thing or not. Because I actually was raised just 3 miles down the road in Alabama. I'm waving at the Alabama line. It's about 150 yards.
No kidding.
By road, my dad lives 1.1 miles, but if you go straight, it's about a 1/2 mile.
Wow.
If he hollered loud enough, I could probably hear him. And stuff. So I didn't really know all these folks, but they knew me.
Yeah.
And stuff. So, but
Wow,
that's
awesome.
much it. Of course, I'm in the dogs, the military order of devil dogs. Man, I'm a I got my second. No, how am I gonna put this? How can I put this? I got my second big star, the PIA.
Okay.
A PIA is a pain in the butt award. And I told them I'm coming after my 5th one, my 5th star. Just go ahead and get ready. I feel sorry for them. No, I don't. But what I like about that is that for the past few years, I've been with Reggie Sawyer, Reggie, with the Lucky Dog table.
Okay.
Now, not only do we help bringing in money for the children's hospital, but you get to meet folks and a little networking in here and there. So I have no problem talking. I get hoarse, but I have no problem talking.
Right.
As long as I don't try to sing that falsetto, on a bad day, and stuff. I'm a pack leader. I was elected pack leader in April.
Okay.
I'm enjoying that. Mike Francis and them came down in July. I thought it was just to make my life miserable. That, as my papa said, "Hold me along." They did really help me along. My first one, they knew I was nervous, and we had lots of fun. Had a kangaroo court. It cost me, but it goes to the children. Knowing like this year we was able to raise $100,000 to give to the local children's hospital in Dallas. I believe it was 103,000 the year before that out in Palm Springs, whatever that hospital was. We was able to gather up at least 10,000 big bones. Well, I say dollars, what we call bones, big bones, to the no-kill animal shelter this year.
Yeah.
So knowing that we're doing that, that helps me get up in the mornings. That helps me put an extra pep in my step.
Yeah. Gives you a little motivation for the day.
A little motivation. Yeah. Because my family ain't got to tell me, but I know they're proud of me. Because I had one of my players talk to me the other day. He said, "Yeah, your brother says you're always gone." I said, "Man, I can't help it. You got to do what I got to do." It's a life I pick. He said, "My poor dogs feel lonely sometimes, but luckily they got mom. Mom, my wife will take care of them, and they got other folks, but constantly on the go." And I really enjoy that. I got to meet some people out of California. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
um, so the ones out, I'm in the pound in I'm in Hawaii. I'm in one of the ones in California. I'm one in
Okay.
Alabama. I'm in two here in Mississippi. I'm one in Missouri. Uh, I don't know if I'm popular, but they allow me to join and stuff. But yeah, I really, really enjoy knowing this, because when there's going to come a day when I'm not able to go anymore, and we're all going to be that
Mm-hmm.
way, I
Yeah.
will be able to say I did nearly everything that I needed to do or that I
Mm-hmm.
could. I do not want to have no regrets.
Right.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah. I like that. Well, is there anything else that you'd like to discuss or talk about? Uh,
I really enjoy you allowing me to be a part of this.
yeah.
I've been looking forward to this ever since I signed up.
Nice.
And I told everybody, don't come to the house during this time and this time. Why is that? Because I'm going to be being interviewed. Matter of fact, I was just on TV at a local station to help promote the Veterans Day parade in
Oh, nice.
November. I'm a co-chair of out of Columbus, Mississippi,
Uh-huh.
Veterans Day parade this year.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So got
Man,
to help
that's awesome.
along. When everybody else says, no, I don't want to be on TV, I said, well, I don't mind doing it. I guess,
Yeah. Yeah. You're just going to be famous now. I mean, you're everywhere.
more
That's
like
good.
infamous,
Oh,
infamous.
there you go.
Yeah. Infamous, and stuff. So,
That's good. Well, hey, I always ask these questions toward the end, kind of rapid fire type questions.
yes,
You wanna jump in on that?
sure, sure.
All right. What is your proudest military moment?
The day I retired and I could come up and tell my captain to lick the bottom of my boots.
I like it.
Of
All
course,
right.
he knew 2 years in advance I was going to do that. So, yeah.
Very good. All right. What is your most embarrassing military moment?
One time, someone gave me some bad word, and I had got it took me a while to get rid of it, called bum scoop Blaylock. Ah, somebody. And I was just passing along with someone who said, what did such and such say? And I said, well, they said this, and they come find out they didn't know what they was talking about. And
Yeah.
so bum scoop Blaylock there. It took me a few months to get rid of that.
Yeah. 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 Oh man, that's good. All right. If you could be one military leader for a day, who would that be?
Ooh, man. That, man. my mm, my master guns that took me into the welding shop,
Okay.
because he always said, come here, young Marine, and never by your name or by your rank unless you
Uh-huh.
really messed up.
Oh, yeah.
He helped me quite a bit on the learning how to be a leader.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. Let's see. Here's a good one. In the zombie apocalypse, what would be your weapon of choice and what anthem would be playing?
Oh my goodness. Weapon of choice. Bazooka.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
bazooka. Yeah, and we shoot them out there. And anthem. Uh, um, Real American. Real American.
Ooh,
Hogan.
okay.
I know there's a lot of controversy there, but uh, uh, I am a real American.
All right. I like it. Okay. What animal best describes your time in service?
Hmm. Cat.
Mm,
Lowell.
okay.
Lowell. And don't mind aggravating.
Nah, that's good. Okay. All right. Knowing what you know now, would you do it all over again?
Oh yeah, yeah. Maybe like everybody else, a little tweaks here and there. But if you do too
Yeah.
many tweaks, you won't get to do what you do. Yes, yes.
True.
I'm
Yeah.
one of those who actually said yes.
Nice. All right. And then I always give it time for words of wisdom. Anything you want to leave the listeners with?
Be a community leader. Um, whether it's picking up paper on the side of the road, going mowing your neighbor's yard, um, especially if they ain't able to, they're sick or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, try to teach your kids and your grandkids right or wrong. You know,
Mm-hmm.
one of my things I used to tell the kids I got from an army buddy of mine. He come up and said, "Hang on, babies, let me put my glasses on so I can hear you a little better." And that was my second year of subbing, and I've used it ever since. Coach, that don't make no sense. Yeah, it is. Go ask your grandpa. That's a grandpa question. You got mom and dad questions, you got grandparents questions, and you got great aunt and uncle questions. That's a grandpa.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
actually had a fourth
absolutely.
grader go ask his grandpa, was that true? He was failing. And because I said something silly like that,
Uh-huh.
his grades came up because he didn't want to wear his glasses. He was too ashamed.
Oh. Mm,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Wow.
you never know.
That's true. That's true. All right. Well, hey, thanks for coming on and doing this.
Yes.
I had a good time. Hopefully you had a good time.
Anytime.
So
Anytime.
yeah. Well, I always end out the podcast. I talk about veteran suicide, ways that they can get
Yes.
help, things of that nature.
Yes.
But
That's very important.
to all the listeners out there, if you're struggling, need help, anything like that, don't forget the VA has some great resources. You can always
Yes.
dial 988, press option 1. You can always text 838-255, or you can go to veteranscrisisline.net and click on the chat icon. Any of those options will put you in contact with somebody that can help you out. But remember, one veteran life loss is one too many. I care about you. I know Jerry cares about you. The whole
Yes.
veteran community cares about you. So please reach out for help. And if you're out there, you're not struggling, reach out to the buddies you served with. Ask them how they're doing. If they need that helping hand, please give it to them. All right, Jerry, one last time. Thanks again for coming on and sharing. I had a blast. And to all the listeners out there, stay motivated. Change your socks. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget, we have 5 episodes a week, Monday through Friday. See you there.